Welcome, Richard, from Lykke. Happy that you're here today. For all the audience out there, for all of you who don't know what FinTech Forum is, FinTech Forum is connecting early stage FinTech startups with investors and business angels. So, Richard, again, happy that you are here. Please tell us about yourself, both work and leisure.
Pleasure to be with you. Thanks for inviting me. Great, real joy. Thank you. So my background, I have a long history as a serial entrepreneur in FinTech before the name existed. And on the other hand, I'm kind of a passionate researcher of trying to understand how financial markets work and how financial markets, like a nervous system, how they can contribute to a sustainable economy. And I'm trying to combine both worlds to create innovative products, but products which have an impact. And, that's me.
And how do you spend your leisure time?
So there is one big part of leisure time. If I call it leisure time, everyone says, "Oh, you're saying that?" It's actually family life. So, two big things, work and family life, and then separately a little bit of sailing or nature and just walking outside.
Thanks. So about Lykke, which services do you sell and who are your competitors?
So, anyone who's in this blockchain fintech space, there's, a growing number of competitors, both from the new world and the old world. Now, Lykke is quite unique in its positioning because we follow a big vision. We really want to help the old world to move to this new fabulous blockchain world, which has a lot of new opportunities, but that cannot be achieved by just creating a silo and doing one thing and then hoping to win over like this. What does Lykke really do? At the core of Lykke is market making. We make markets in tokens, being they pure cryptos, or eventually utility tokens, or the big future when all shares, bonds, everything else also will be tokenized. So the sweet spot for us is to make markets on our exchange and others. And now, how do we complement this core activity? We have a UK exchange, which is a retail plus B2B exchange where people can buy cryptos, utility tokens. Second, we have a Lykke Business, where we help big enterprises and young companies which want to create new solutions to build innovative solutions using blockchain and kind of creating new state-of-the-art services. And finally, this is something to come, is we're planning to launch out of Switzerland a so-called OTF, which is a bilateral exchange to tokenize traditional shares, bonds, and make them accessible to everyday investor.
Yeah, that's tremendous. How did you get to your startup idea and how did you actually launch it?
So at least, kind of my journey is very long. Way back, I started first working in a bank. I, learned how banking works, private banking, and I was shocked. Why don't bankers embrace scientific principles in how they make investment advice? And the first business idea was to build a real-time information system. And eventually we had all the big banks in Europe, which were customers. Out of that, when the internet emerged, we launched a spin-off from the first company was called Olsen Associates, which then became Oanda. And Oanda was a kind of and is still a very successful foreign exchange market maker. Very interesting. But in this process, I learned a lot about the deficiencies of the financial system and what could be improved. And I always dreamt of creating a new backend So at Oanda, for example, we introduced second-by-second interest rate payments, getting away from batch-based processes, which big computers do their kind of file sharing end of night, but actually continuous interest rate payments, just as you pay for electricity. And in this process, I discovered a lot of other things which didn't work, and was always looking for a new infrastructure. And then end of 2011, I suddenly realized, Bitcoin, which I never understood, why should one currency dictate the world? I said, but Bitcoin is actually about blockchain. And then tried to convince the Oanda board to embrace this new technology and rethink its business model. Didn't have a chance, and then left and said, look, I'll start the next business, and Lykke is as kind of Oanda 2.0.
Yeah, that's impressive, given out of such a history. And how did you finance Lykke at the beginning, and what are the learnings you would like to share with other founders who are going to the fundraising journey?
So I'm saying really how it happened. So when I started up Lykke, I hadn't been able to sell my shares in Oanda. So I really was, kind of successful entrepreneur, but starting really from scratch. So I first did a seed round in, Zurich, but at the time, people approached me, and I still see that people in the gallery say, look, you have to buy Bitcoin, but people did not understand the big vision. So it was pretty hard to get the first 500,000. And then we did something which was very innovative. So with this, building this thing is a big project. So we announced a competition to get a team to build the platform. And that was a big success. And then we did, end of 2016, we did our first security offering of LKK. Now we were, ahead of the curve. So whenever you do the things first time, you don't get, the tens, hundreds of million, not. But we at least raised 1.6 million in the first round. And then in 3 rounds, we raised 7.6 million. So, which was a reasonable success. But I made a strategic mistake. I thought, let's have a security token because it's really, we first have to fund the company. And I always afterwards wanted to create a utility token. But then, we missed the boat. So we didn't have a utility token, which would have been traded on all different exchanges, etc. So a big mistake.
Yeah. And what are, let's say, the key learnings you can share for other founders?
I think key learning is, follow your passion. And important, don't be just tactical. Have your kind of long-term views, strategic views. But then, on the other hand, be literally very open. Listen to what other people tell you. So usually, and I think especially for founders, it's very difficult to embrace both things. Be passionate about their core ideas and to listen to advice. And then also understand that within your company, you have to embrace 2 very different kind of style of people. People who are incredibly meticulous and other people who are visionary. And it's combining 2, like yin and yang, 2 very different ways of approaching business that make a success.
Yeah, understood. Which are the key trends and opportunities in financial services from your point of view, especially with respect to Europe?
I've never in my whole life, and I've witnessed the internet revolution, seen such a big opportunity as we have today. Financial world and all other industries will be redefined because we are not just talking about reinventing the banking world, but in the process, all other industries will fundamentally change because they will turn into products and services which all have a financial edge to it. So I have never seen so many big opportunities, but what's important is, I think one has to be very strategic. It does not work, it needs a big master plan where I think very important platform plays, where you create an ecosystem. That's the future.
So given your work and your family time, do you still have a reading list? And if yes, what's on it?
So first of all, I'm passionate about reading, and the biggest pain which I have is that we don't have on the internet an Alexandria library where all books are accessible, and that's everyday pain for me. So, because it's such a pity that we don't have, as we have Wikipedia, but I would love to just have access to the source material, quality. So as soon as I make a little more money, I'll invest in that. And then obviously I have my things which interest me, and it goes through phases. And like, for example, at this very moment, I'm very intrigued by the poetry of Paul Celan, and it's fascinating. So because I'm so busy, I love to just take something small and then read. So passionate reader.
Yeah, that's a good strategy. Reading in small pieces. Yeah, I agree. And let's imagine we are post-COVID. What's your favorite place for a coffee or a drink?
I mean, now to be, politically incorrect, on a sailing boat. I mean, the beauty is to go out sailing in nature and just relax there. This is my biggest joy.
Yeah, that sounds great, and that's possible also in the current area. Richard, thank you very much for your time, and let's say spending the time and providing the insight in your journey so far.
Thanks. Great pleasure. Good luck. Enjoy your day. Thank you very much.